Are you dealing with the trials of a difficult marriage or going through a separation or divorce? Welcome to the club, friend. Life is messy and it can be hard. I'm Jen Zingmark, a Christian life coach, and I have good news for you. There is a path to find hope, healing, and happiness, no matter what your circumstances are, and I can help you find joy in your journey. So let's go. Marriage support and divorce coaching may not be needed by you personally, but almost everyone knows someone dealing with the trials of this difficult journey. Please share this podcast with someone you know who might be dealing with the challenges of divorce or a difficult marriage. The tools that I have are life-changing. And I know this because I have experienced this in my own life, and I have seen it in the lives of my clients. And I want to share these tools with everyone that can benefit from them. Hey there. Thanks for joining me today. I want to talk about pain and happiness. We really want to be happy, don't we? I think we all think as a mom or a parent, if you are one, don't you just think, I want my kids to be happy? That's all I want. I think it sounds good and it seems like a good thing. And I think it's human nature. Our brain is constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, right? I'm using the word happy as an overall title for a lot of different positive emotions that we seek. Here's what I want you to think about. When we are just happy all the time without anything negative, there would be no contrast. Life would actually be really boring. We wouldn't evolve. In fact, we may not even recognize happy. There's a video that I love, and it's called This is Water. You can go out and look it up on YouTube. It's really cute, and it has a great message about the reality of life and the reality of emotions and concepts. And it's cute. There are a couple of fish swimming around in a bowl, and one of them mentioned at some point that they're swimming in water, and the other fish says, "Water? What is water?" And the fish says, "It's all around us. Don't you see?" The other fish can't understand because he has no idea what water is because he's never been out of water. He's never been unable to breathe. So he never had to worry about being in water or out of water. They just take water for granted because that's all they ever have known, right? I believe this is exactly how we would feel if we were just happy all of the time. We wouldn't even understand the difference without contrast. If you think about relationships, especially romantic relationships, most of the time they end, and it's painful when a romantic relationship ends. Even the one or two relationships that don't end in our lives, or maybe a handful of relationships with your parents or your spouse or your children that don't end sometime in our lives, they require so much of us. They're not easy, and they're definitely not just happy all of the time, right? They require a lot of mental and emotional work. We're willing to do it, right? Even if you've been hurt by a previous relationship that ended, we're willing to try again and get in another relationship, even risk pain and heartbreak that comes with it. Why are we willing to do that? Because of love and connection, right? We are willing to get hurt in relationships. We fall in love and we give our heart and ourselves to someone because we want to be connected and love and be loved by another human being. It's like our water, right? It's what we're wired for. But you have to be willing to get hurt in order to fall in love and get in another relationship, because relationships have all of the human experience. They have really high highs and they have lows. We feel pain and heartbreak and heartache when things aren't going so well in our relationships. That is part of the human experience. Experiencing these things allow you to truly live your life and go big and show up in your life as your most authentic self. If people never experienced pain, they would never know what it was. On the surface level, that seems like a blessing, right? But think for a moment, if we didn't know pain, how would we know peace? If you don't know you've been hurt or you've hurt someone, how would you know that you need to heal? It is the contrast that provides that amazing feeling. That is why there's opposition in all things, even opposition within us as human beings in our life experience. Without the feeling of pain, people wouldn't be aware of dangerous situations, what they should or shouldn't do for survival. Life is pain. And ultimately, that is a very good thing for all of us. Pain serves to protect human beings from harm, and pain within our body serves as a warning that something is not right because feeling well, you know what it feels like to feel bad or sick. Along with serving as a teacher to us, pain also teaches you what you're made of in terms of what you can handle as an individual. I know we've all heard of the cliche, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's been used excessively for a reason. It's true. Pain helps you learn to cope with life's inevitable difficulties and sadnesses, to develop grit, the grit that it takes to push past hardships and carry on when life is painful. Take a breakup as an example. Anyone who has experienced it knows that, especially your first heartbreak, it feels like you're going to die. It feels like you won't live through it. Like there's nothing more excruciating. But as you learn and grow, you realize you're more resilient with every ended relationship. You know that you will get over it and you will feel better again. You only know happiness when you know life is painful. While the idea of constant happiness sounds nice, there's very little chance that it ever would be. Without the comparison to happiness, there's no reason to be grateful for it. That is to say, without ever knowing sadness or pain, you would have no reason to be grateful for happiness. In reality, there is always something missing or unpleasant, but it is only through those realizations that you know to be grateful when you feel like you have it all. They are a normal part of the human experience. This is what it is to be human. And we are all humans having a human experience. And as human beings, I promise you can handle all the extreme emotions that a human being can feel. There's an interesting research study that showed one thing that brings about the most happiness in a person's life is challenge. When people are tested, they experience a greater sense of accomplishment and happiness when they are successful. It is largely for this reason that low income individuals can often feel happier than those who have a sense of wealth. This is a great thing to remember the next time you feel like you would be happier if you just had more dollars in your bank account. So, I want to teach you about two specific types of pain as identified by Jody Moore. I love her theory on this. She identifies pain as clean pain and dirty pain. Clean pain is a really useful and necessary part of our human experience. It comes naturally as we go through life and we experience grief and sadness and disappointment. Clean pain is heartbreak and mourning with those that mourn, comforting those that need comfort. It is the normal, natural consequence of a painful or negative event. And it includes all sorts of emotions like feeling anger or hurt or sad, or grief or denial when we lose a loved one. Clean pain is what I felt when my oldest child left home. When I said goodbye to my son after he graduated from high school and just a couple months later left the United States to serve a 2-year mission for our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Peru. At that time, missionaries were sent with no telephone, and we had very little communication with our children when they were serving at that time. This is my firstborn son, the baby boy that made me a mom, who went out into the world on his own at 19 years old, the little boy that I taught and nurtured and cared for and provided for 19 years. And I knew that I wouldn't see him for the next 2 years in person, that we would be able to talk on the phone twice a year and exchange emails every week. But that was it. It was something he really wanted to do and had planned to do all of his life. And I wanted him to go and serve a mission. It was a wonderful experience, and I knew it was the very best thing for him, but it was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life, was to let him go. It felt like my heart was just being ripped out of my chest. And although I knew the day was coming for 19 years, the pain was gut wrenching and heavy and real. And I sobbed for days after he left. And it felt good to cry because I needed it. And it helped me to process the pain. I knew that I had been a good mother and that I had done the very best that I could for him while I raised him and all of my children. And I loved him, and raising him was one of the greatest privileges and blessings of my life. And now that beautiful, wonderful part of my life was over. Although I missed him terribly, and I cried occasionally over that 2-year period while he was gone, it did get easier over that time. But mourning the loss of his childhood and mourning the loss of him leaving and separating from our family and setting my dinner table and not having his plate there every night, it was hard. But all of that is clean pain. It's pain that you can work through and process and is normal and natural. And now he's young adult, 26 years old, about to turn 27, and so successful and happily married and living his best life. And I don't feel that pain anymore. But at the time it was hard, but it was part of life. And it was just a healthy, clean pain. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of dirty pain. Dirty pain is unnecessary pain that we add on to situations or events in our lives. It sometimes feels justified when we experience something unexpected or unplanned, like an illness or a death or even divorce. It is the drama that comes after these unexpected situations when we think that it should have never happened, that something went wrong, or that we were wronged by an event that happened. When we think this shouldn't be happening to me, this shouldn't be happening to my child, my spouse shouldn't have to experience this, or somebody should pay for this, someone needs to be held accountable, or this isn't fair. All of those thoughts just add dirty pain. Dirty pain keeps us stuck. Clean pain, on the other hand, helps us move forward. Dirty pain stops us or even causes us to go backwards and become bitter. Clean pain is what makes us better. Dirty pain is what my brain immediately tried to offer me after I went through my divorce. Dirty pain was all of the drama about how wrong it was that my ex-spouse cheated, that it was me thinking about how unfair it was that he left me to raise our 3 children. It was me thinking that he caused all of my pain and ruined my life. And what about him? What about his addictions? And what about justice and equity? Dirty pain is what we work on in coaching. And I can help you work through dirty pain. Even with dirty pain, I don't want you to try to escape it right away. I don't want you to try to buffer from it. And I just want you to try to notice feeling dirty pain and question it in your life. Is it useful? Is it truthful? Is it honest? Is it necessary? These are ways to identify whether the pain you're experiencing is clean or dirty. Okay. There's always another way to see every situation that happens in life. I found that the best way to find a better option is to question all of it and be willing to question whatever situation or event you're dealing with in your life. And if everyone in the world would view it the way you are, or if you're adding those dramatic opinions about something going wrong or someone causing you this dirty pain in your life. In my situation, another option for me to consider about my divorce was to accept that my marriage ended, leave it at that, to appreciate the beautiful children that I gained from it and the wonderful memories that I have from those years when I had my babies and they were little and growing, and just cherish those memories and be grateful for them. Take the good experiences that I had in my first marriage with me and leave the bad behind. I'm a different person because of my first marriage. I've gained so much insight about myself and about relationships. And ultimately, it helped me become the person that I am today, the much better version of myself than I was at that time. It made the impact in my life that it was supposed to. And it ended when it was supposed to. And that relationship was complete. And I want to remember that significant part of my life with feelings of peace and gratitude, and be ready to move forward and without all of the resentment and bitterness and baggage that dirty pain would add onto it. It's scary. Yes. It's heartbreaking. Yes. To, go through divorce. All of that is clean pain, but it doesn't have to be bitter and resentful. And I don't have to carry it with me the rest of my life. That is the difference. Clean pain, you can work through and recall and move on from. Dirty pain stays with you and it keeps you stuck and bitter and resentful as long as you carry it. I want to leave that part of my life behind and look forward to the wonderful future that is ahead of me, the whole untapped potential that I have ahead of me in my life. And I want to be healed and have hope and peace and happiness and joy in my life. And the best way to do that was to leave my first marriage with closure and peace. And ultimately, that's what I chose to do. So that is available to all of us, no matter what the situation is in your life. You have a choice. Life is pain, and experiencing pain is an inevitable part of life. Embrace it positively. Anyone who strives to have a painless life is striving for perfection, and perfection guarantees sadness because nothing in this life will ever be perfect. It's not a bleak outlook. It's just a truthful one, a realistic one. The messy moments in life tend to create the best memories and gratitude. Pain often serves as a reminder of lessons learned, much like physical scars on our bodies. So, although clean pain is essential to enjoying and appreciating happiness in your life, dirty pain is not. You cause your own dirty pain in your life when you choose to add it on top of any situation or event with your thoughts, and it is completely unnecessary. No matter what the situation is, I promise to have a happier, more successful life, you don't learn solely from success or accomplishment, but through pain and failure. It is in those moments that you learn how to do better in the future and at least cope more easily when you accept that pain is an essential part of life. And without pain, you will not enjoy happiness. You are the strong person that you are today because of the hardships that life has presented you. While you may have felt out of control when those hard times came, one thing you will always have control over is how you choose to react to the situations and events in your life. I hope that you will take some time and think about the pain that you are experiencing in your life and decide if it's clean pain or dirty pain. Really start exploring what dirty pain you are causing yourself in your life. Uncover the thoughts that you are having that are causing that dirty pain. Those thoughts are choices that you are making that are causing you unnecessary pain in your life. And I want to encourage you to work on changing those thoughts to ones that serve you better. This is the work that I do in coaching, and it is so amazing to see the pain lift when you just start to let go of those harmful thoughts that many times you don't even realize you're adding on to painful situations in your life. So take one or two of these ideas that I've shared with you today about pain and do some soul searching, do some thinking about your pain and whether it's clean or dirty, and let me know how it goes. I love hearing from you guys. Bye, y'all. Are you struggling with the trials of divorce? There is a path to find joy in your journey. I would love to help you. Go to jenzingmark.com to get all the info. There you'll find a free download to help you start thinking happier thoughts today. And you can sign up to receive my weekly newsletter. If you like what you've heard here and want to dive deeper into this work, sign up for a free mini session with me. This is just the tip of the iceberg, my friends. There is so much more. I would love to work with you and be your life coach.